You ever have one of those days where a single sound just tells you everything's about to go to hell? Yeah, that was me, chewing on some soggy cereal while rain hammered the windows and my phone started buzzing like a fire alarm. First one text, then a dozen, all from panicked neighbors. I look out and there's old Mrs. Grant knee-deep in brown water, waving her arms like she's trying to land a plane, yelling for help as water surges over her steps. And that's when I step outside and it hits me. There's a river rushing down the street, but the water's not going anywhere. It's just piling up right in front of my house like the world's worst surprise pool party. My stomach drops. I sprint over and yank at the metal grate I'd installed years ago, something I'd done to keep the stormwater moving because frankly the city stopped caring ages ago. But instead of hearing water echoing down into the drain, my hand hits cold, solid concrete. Somebody filled the storm drain with concrete. For a second, all I can do is stare at it, rain soaking through my shirt, wondering if this is real life or some twisted prank. And then it clicks, this isn't just my problem. That drain handles runoff for the whole block. If it's blocked, the entire neighborhood's about to go underwater. I yell something into the wind like it'd rewind time or fix anything, but deep down I know who's behind this. 3 days earlier, Karen, queen of the HOA, had been standing on my lawn with a clipboard sunglasses on, despite the clouds spitting out words like property values and aesthetic harmony. She'd called my storm grate ugly, said it looked industrial and didn't fit the neighborhood vibe. I'd explained calmly that it was the only thing keeping our basements from turning into indoor swimming pools. She'd just scoffed, told me, "I have a guy, I'm just gonna cover it up. It's ugly." I thought she meant mulch, or maybe some new bushes. I didn't know she meant her cousin Larry, who, as it turns out, once worked 2 weeks on a construction site and hasn't shut up about it since. Now with the street turning into a lake, Mrs. Grant's basement flooding the Wilkins driveway, looking like a canal, in my own garage smelling like a swamp. I storm over to Karen's. She opens the door in a silk robe, latte in hand, cool as a cucumber, like nothing's happening. I point to the water. I tell her what she's done, and she just shrugs, literally shrugs and says, "Oh, that, yeah. It looked so ugly. You're welcome. You ever have a moment where you just can't?" That was me. I told her she'd vandalized public property, that this was criminal, and she just rolled her eyes. "You people are so dramatic. It's just rain. It'll dry." Except it didn't. It got worse. Boxes ruined, car alarms blaring every time water lapped a tire, people dragging wet junk out of garages. So here's where my day job comes in. I'm a civil engineer and I have access to the city's drainage maps. I pull it up and sure enough, that drain is the keystone for our whole street, a master diverter from the 90s that keeps the block from flooding. Without it, everything loops and pools at the lowest point, which is lucky me, right in front of my house. I call the city, tell them what's up. They say they can't send anyone unless it's a health or safety hazard. I ask, what about an elderly lady on oxygen whose house is flooding? That finally gets their attention. Meanwhile, neighbors are starting to gather, some with buckets, some with trash bags on their feet. When word spreads that Karen filled the drain, the whole vibe goes from panic to straight-up mutiny. Chris, 2 doors down, yells he's gonna make Karen pay for his ruined floors. Somebody suggests tying her to a floaty and sending her down the street. I think they were joking, but you never know. Karen, for her part, is nowhere to be seen. Blinds drawn, peeking out like she's watching a wildlife documentary. I'm trying to keep folks from rioting when the mayor's office calls, asks me to send in my footage. Yes, I've got a drone, don't ask, it's a hobby. The city attorney calls not long after, tone all business, asking for proof. Oh, I've got proof, emails, Facebook posts, screenshots from HOA meetings where Karen called the drain an eyesore. She'd even posted her plans to beautify the curb. They tell me she's not just in trouble, she's really in trouble. Just as I'm thinking this can't get more surreal, a pair of city workers show up at 2 a.m. in a truck, floodlights on, jackhammers and clipboards in hand. "You the one who reported a sabotage?" one of them asks. I point out the lake that used to be my street. "Yep, that's me." He whistles. "Someone's about to have a very bad week." I point at Karen's house. "Say no more," he nods. By morning, the water has gone down a little, but the damage is obvious. Lawns wrecked, soggy boxes everywhere. Neighbors looking like they survived a shipwreck. Karen's house, pristine, dry. Her HOA proud yard sign, now the punchline of every conversation. I watch as city crews set up cones and get to work. Dave, the lead, explains it'll take at least 2 days to get through the concrete. I ask if they're billing Karen. He grins. as soon as legal's done with her. Word spreads fast. Karen's being investigated for tampering with city infrastructure. Neighbors start thanking me, but their gratitude's laced with frustration. Chris is fuming about his fuse box. Don's cataloging flood damage in a spreadsheet, and Mrs. Grant's grandkids are scooping out buckets from her basement. A local reporter shows up, cameras rolling, and suddenly I'm the accidental spokesman for the block. When she finds out I'm an engineer, she gets real interested. "So you knew what that drain was for? I designed a similar system," I say. "That wasn't an eyesore. That was our keystone." She asks who filled it. Let's just say her name rhymes with Barron. By dinner, the story's viral memes about Karen's heart being solid concrete HOA beautification fails the whole block's online roasting her. But here's where the real twist hits. Chris, ever the detective, finds a video Karen posted days before the flood. It's her cousin Larry on camera pouring concrete into the grate. Karen's voice in the background. "No one needs this old trash. I want curb appeal." I send the link to the city attorney. They call me again, ask for an affidavit. They're charging her with reckless endangerment and tampering with public works. I'm not happy about all this, but honestly, people almost got seriously hurt. Mrs. Grant's oxygen machine almost failed. A kid cut his leg on something underwater, all because Karen wanted pretty curbs. That night, as crews finally break through, the last slab of concrete water whooshes through the system and people start clapping. It felt good. Like we'd beaten not just the flood, but this idea that one person's ego could drown everyone else's peace. "You saved the block," a worker tells me. I just shake my head. I just stopped someone from ruining it. But the fallout's just beginning. Karen's silence is deafening, but now the whole HOA is under the microscope. Petitions circulate, strip her of power, fine her, kick her out. It's not even about water anymore. It's about control, about someone thinking they could rule by cement and decree. The next day, the city posts a notice. Karen's officially under investigation for obstruction. Chris is over the moon, posting "Concrete Justice Incoming" on the neighborhood forum. That night, there's a knock at my door. It's Karen. No sunglasses, no smirk, just tired eyes. She mumbles an apology, says she didn't mean for any of this. I tell her it doesn't matter. Her actions did the damage. Trust is gone. Safety's gone. People's homes were wrecked for a little curb appeal. She nods, walks away, and that's the last real conversation we ever have. The lawsuits come in waves. Chris files first, then Dawn, then Mrs. Grant. A group organizes a class action. City fines pile up close to $80,000 plus legal fees. Her cousin Larry confesses he didn't even know it was a drain, just followed orders to make it permanent. A public press conference follows. Mayor stands at a podium, lays out the violations, makes it clear this isn't just a neighborhood squabble, it's a city issue. And the real kicker. Turns out Karen had beautification plans for half the block. Janice, cleaning her flooded shed, finds an envelope with Karen's sketches she'd marked homes to fix next, including a disabled veterans ramp. The next HOA meeting is a circus. No more shouting, just stunned silence as the folder makes its rounds. The board votes to ban Karen from touching shared property ever again. The process server hands her the lawsuit at her door. Someone snaps a photo and captions it, "Concrete plans legally served." Even her would-be lawyer, who lives 2 streets over and got flooded, refuses her case. Halloween comes and goes. Karen's house is the only one without decorations. The rest of us stage a haunted drain scene. The mayor takes a photo. The storm ends not with a bang, but with silence. Her house sits empty, for sale sign. Up, no open house, just a quiet fade out. A young couple moves in. Weeks later, brings cookies, joins the HOA, no drama, just community. And that's it. The saga of Karen and the concrete drain is over, but the drain itself becomes a neighborhood landmark. Someone paints a superhero face on the grate, and the block's never been more connected. I keep a chunk of the concrete on a shelf in my garage, not out of spite, but as a reminder that one stubborn act can bring a whole community together if enough people give a damn. So, what do you think? Was justice served, or did it go too far? Ever see something like this play out in your own neighborhood? Drop your thoughts below. Let's see where you land on this one. Because honestly, I'm still not sure where the line is between fixing a problem and becoming the problem.